In the 80s, did parents really just let their kids go out wherever, or is this only in movies? I mean, it wasn't a free-for-all, but I would leave on my bike and give a time I'd be home, and there was no cell phone, no tracking, and no reason to distrust me unless I gave them one. Every once in a while you'd find yourself lost or in a situation you weren't prepared for. It could be nerve-wracking in those moments, but it built character and independence. It is still some of my best memories, the freedom of being able to go anywhere on that bike. Yes, and not just in the 80s. That's how it was for me and just about all my friends, yeah. Constantly keeping in contact the way people can now was very annoying to do back then, since it would have involved payphones and hoping your parents were near the home phone or something. I'd normally only call if something went wrong or if I wanted to stay at a friend's place for dinner or the like. Over in the Gen X subreddit, every other post is some variation of, "It's so cool how we used to just tell our parents we were going outside to play and then we'd disappear until the end of the day. We did it all the time and we love to talk about it. Lol, I certainly went out and rambled wherever I pleased. It was like this before the 80s, too. They couldn't kick me out of the house fast enough every morning. Not only that, but every movie or TV series set in the 80s has small crews of kids with bikes, and they will just ditch their bikes in front of abandoned houses and dangerous-looking facilities to go seek adventure, as if bike theft wasn't a thing. See Stranger Things and IT. I grew up in the 1980s, but in an urban area of Los Angeles. Was it really like this in the suburbs and in small towns? Yep. My girlfriend was a 30-minute bike ride away. My parents died, and even though she existed, I biked to her house like 3 times a week. Yes, but here's safety in numbers. Back then, all the kids were out. Now, you'd be the only kid return when the street lights turn on. Depending on their shift, a parent might be there, might not. They did this for me in the 2000s and 2010s. All day long when we weren't in school, we ran the streets, rode bikes all over, went to different neighborhoods to see friends. Parents didn't worry unless we weren't home for dinner. Even then, they'd usually call a friend's mom and be able to track us down. I feel bad for kids today. That's how it was for me. My sister and the other neighborhood kids would get together most days. There was an open dirt pit in the woods nearby that we'd use to do jumps on our bikes, an abandoned construction site with big concrete tubes that we'd play in, a pond where we'd catch and release frogs and tadpoles, a rock formation that we'd have picnics on, lot of bike paths through the woods to the neighboring towns. We had a nice little downtown with fun stores that we'd ride to, or we'd just go roaming in the overgrown parts of the neighborhood. Check out cemeteries, streams, build snow forts in the winter. If we stayed in, we'd just watch whatever we wanted on TV or play a Nintendo. They didn't monitor that either. This wasn't even really out in the boonies, we were about half an hour outside of Boston. In the 70s too. Me and mates would play everywhere. All over state where we lived. By railway tracks though told not to. In woods nearby. Early in morning till tea time. No adult supervision. Much better than today. In the 70s, I was walking a mile home from 4th and 5th grade school, letting myself into the house and watching cartoon till my folks got home at 5:30 p.m. We were called latchkey kids, and it was quite common. I'm old and don't have kids. What is it like for the kids now? Did it in the 90s too. Even through the early 2000s, I was 16 in 2010, I could basically just go wherever I wanted, as long as I was home before dark. Either that or I call and let them know where I'm at. I just go out and travel on my bike, sometimes up to like 30 minutes away. We also lived in a pretty safe neighborhood, so there's that. Born in late 1968. In the early 80s, my parents had a vague idea of where I was. They just assumed I would stay within our neighborhood. Yup. We made forts in the woods. We picked wild blackberries. We rode our bikes for hours. By the time we were at 12, we got dropped off at the movies, often with younger siblings, and got picked up an hour after the movie ended so we could hang out. We walked to the lake and met up with friends. Shit happened, don't get me wrong. Probably why it's no longer done. But yeah.